Hi, welcome back to Everyday I Race. In today's video, I'm going to be comparing these three different oxygen sensors. This is a Bosch I got at the junkyard for $2. I don't know anything about it. It's used. I'm going to compare it to this Walker brand. This is the part number. I paid $24 for this one. This is supposedly economy brand. Kapow. And then I'm going to compare it to this premium anti-K. Here we go. I paid $31 for this sensor on Rock Auto. Here we go. Looks very similar to this Walker. Bosch looks a little different. So I'm going to see which one of these three sensors is going to give me the best gas mileage on my Ford Ranger. And if there's any difference between them. Or if they're all made in the same factory, put in different boxes, and it's nothing more than a branding game. So you'd be better off just buying a used oxygen sensor and be on your way. Let's find out. Now, before I show you what happened during testing, which is something I wasn't expecting, I want to let you know that this video is made by a real human. I bought the sensors with my own money, and this video is not sponsored by anybody. And before I place an order for the oxygen sensors, I've decided to do a quick research on YouTube to see if maybe there's a similar video out there, or maybe 10 of them or whatever. What was recommended to me really gave me a good laugh. First video that got recommended was this video. This is the thumbnail. It's made by Carnet, and it's 2 ways to clean oxygen sensor without removal. Why is this thumbnail is hilarious? Well, first, if you look at the head of the 2 oxygen sensors before and after, you noticed that they're different. Then if you start looking at closer at the bodies of the oxygen sensor, you quickly realize that the sensor brands, these are 2 completely different oxygen sensors, and whatever magic cleaner they used that apparently is capable of changing the oxygen sensor to a different brand without removal. So that was pretty funny, but the funniest part continued. The second video that got recommended, here's a thumbnail for this video. And it's a Car Care Fix channel. It was made 1 month ago. And this one's is 3 ways to clean oxygen sensor without removal. And as you can see on the thumbnail, it's exactly identical AI sloppy thumbnail, except there's 3 ways. Now, this was pretty funny. There's nothing original about this video. I'm pretty sure I didn't watch it. I'm not sure how it got 14,000 views in a month. But let's move on to the third recommended video, which is even more hilarious than the first 2. And here's the thumbnail for this one. Now, this is 5 ways to clean the oxygen sensor without removing it. So, same slop. This one's made by Auto V Fix. And I gotta give this channel some props. They decided to use a different thumbnail. Unfortunately, they don't know the difference between a wideband sensor and a narrowband sensor. So the before oxygen sensor is actually a wideband. It looks like a Bosch wideband sensor. And then after, they used the same AI slop oxygen sensor with the hand from the previous 2 different channels. So this one's got 7.6 thousand views in 3 months, which is pretty good. So I'm not sure who's watching this slop, but anyways, I found that hilarious. So let's get to the testing to the 3 sensors in my video. Now, since oxygen sensor consists of 2 elements, the heater element and the sensing element, in the first test, I've decided to test the resistance of the heater element of all 3 sensors. So let's take a look at that. First, used Bosch All right, 3.5, 3.4 ohm. Let's use Bosch. 6.1 ohm for the NCK. All right, next we got the Walker. Boom, boom. Let's measure resistance. 5.3 ohm. All right, so I was not expecting to see such differences in resistance of the heater of these sensors. I figured they would all be pretty similar. And I really don't know if that means that one of them is better than the other one. But typically on the DC circuit, a component with the lowest resistance, such as Bosch in this case at 3.5 ohm, would mean that it's able to flow the most amount of current through it, possibly getting the sensor up to its operating temperature the quickest. So if we go by that theory, that means that the Bosch is the best. It would get up to temperature the quickest, and NTK would be the slowest one. So after doing this test, I've decided to actually see in real life which one of these sensors would get up to its operating temperature quickest. So let's get to that. All right, so in this test, I used the Car Scanner Pro to collect data to see how long it would take each sensor to warm up, to get up to temperature. So let's get going. I've done 4 tests, 2 with NTK, 1 with Walker, and 1 with Bosch. First, let's look at the first NTK test. It started at 1221.48. I look at the coolant temperature data and oxygen sensor data. I also put the engine speed on there just so I would know when it would start. So the initial coolant temperature was 51.8 degrees Fahrenheit, and the end was 68 degrees Fahrenheit. We can remove that. And now we can see the engine speed. It started at 1221.48. And then it hit 0.0005 volts at 1222.08, which is 20 seconds. And then it hit peak 0.84 volts, so it's fully operational about 28 seconds later. So it's 48 seconds. It seemed too quick, so I've decided to do the test. So I waited about 40 minutes, started at 1307.05, did the exact same thing, start the truck and let it idle and record the data. So the coolant temperature was 68 degrees Fahrenheit. At the end, it was 91 degrees Fahrenheit. So we started at 1307.05. It took us 20 seconds to start reading 0.005 volts. So that was 1307.25. And then we hit peak 0.92 volts 42 seconds later. So the whole test was 1 minute and 2 seconds for the NTK sensor to get up to fully operational. So next we move to the Walker. That test was done at 16:10:04. Same procedure. Coolant, engine speed, and oxygen sensor voltage. So initial start was at 16:10:16. 107 degrees Fahrenheit coolant temperature and 129 degrees Fahrenheit at the end. And this one was way different. So we started at 161016, and it hit 0.005 volts at 161121, which is 1 minute and 5 seconds. But it hit peak voltage at 161130, so that's 1 minute and 14 seconds for the whole process. So longer than NTK. Next, let's look at the Bosch, used Bosch. So this test starts at 1733.21. Let's look at the coolant temps. 93 degrees Fahrenheit and 120 degrees Fahrenheit at the end. So we start at 1733.21. And we start reading 0.005 volts at 1734.29. That's 1 minute and 8 seconds. And then we hit 0.775 volts at approximately 1734.47, so 18 seconds. So Bosch, it took 1 minute and 26 seconds to go from 0 to reading to get up to its operation. Alright, so this is the old Bosch oxygen sensor. Alright, so for the next test, I've decided to test each oxygen sensor's performance by going on a certain stretch of road of 3 miles with no stoplights and low traffic. I would go north with cruise control enabled at 50 miles an hour. Then I would turn around and then I would go south, same 50 miles an hour, cruise control enabled, using my Car Scanner Pro app to record the data. Then I would change the sensor to a different one, and then I would repeat the process. It took me like a couple of hours to do that. So let's see exactly what happened. Alright, so first we're going to look at the Bosch going north. That test was done at 8:48 p.m. I'm going to select fuel consumption and speed. And I'm going to look at the MPGs at the end of the run. We're looking 32.27 MPG for Bosch going north. Now Bosch going south was done at 8:55 p.m. I'm going to do the same thing, select fuel consumption and speed. We got 29.05 MPGs. Then Walker sensor going north. That test was done at 10:06 p.m. And we got 32.05 MPGs. Now Walker sensor going south was done at 10:13 p.m. We're looking at 30.32 MPGs. Next, we're going to look at NTK sensor going north. That test was done at 11:12 p.m. Okay, we're looking at 32.12 MPG. And last but not least, NTK sensor going south was done at 11:20 p.m. And we're looking at 29.49 MPG. So here are results. These are averages, south plus north with the same sensor. As you can see, they're very, very similar. And apparently old oxygen sensors work almost as good as brand new. So there's no point changing them. And this was going to be the end of the video. Unfortunately for me, I ran into a problem during the installation and removal of the oxygen sensors. And let me show you why. Okay. This fucking bastard. Oh, see, this is way better. This is way better. Next connector for the old Bosch. Using my finger, you can see that tab is clearing everything. There we go. Next, NTK. NTK is actually the best one. It's got a big tab, makes it real easy. There we go. Now let's look at the connector. It's flimsy, and as you can see, you're pressing it all the way down. You got tabs right here. They won't let you press all the way, so you kind of have to have a screwdriver or a pick maybe to press it all the way down. Just the whole thing is flimsy, and it still will not clear the tab. Terrible design. Alright, let's look at the results. Warm up. NTK was number 1, so it's the sensor I would recommend getting if you live in a cold climate or you do a bunch of short trips. Next, MPGs. Surprisingly, Walker took a first place. NTK was close second. Old Bosch did pretty good at third place. Last but not least, I learned something new. I didn't know that different brand oxygen sensors used different connectors. And boy, NTK got one of the best connectors ever. Very easy to unplug even with one hand. Bosch, same thing, not as good, but still I was able to unplug it with one hand. But boy, Walker, whoever decided to put that connector on there, Jesus Christ. If that connector was located somewhere where I could only reach with one hand, I'd still probably be fighting with it. What a terrible design.